But I guess the thing in the box was just like berserk.
Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe
Yeah,
because it was a badger.
because it was a badger. Yes. All right. So I guess I'll do a quick introduction.
Cool.
So welcome anyone who might watch this in the future. I'm Tristan, and my what do you want to be? Wingman, probably, is Mike. We both
Good.
work for the Florida Public Archaeology Network, and we are here to do survey in a game called No Man's Sky. So we are actually going to fly around in a systematic way, as systematic as we can get, and actually try to see if we can find player bases to record as we would in archaeology in the physical world. So, there you have it.
Question.
Shoot.
What is a survey?
We can talk
In case
about that as
people
we
don't
fly.
know. Okay, second question. Follow up to the first question.
Okay.
How do I enter my spacecraft?
You hold down the E button. Or, actually, you're not on a computer, so I can't help you.
The correct answer is X.
Okay.
All right, so, oh, did you leave?
I'm out. I'm going to pop down on this planet real quick. Actually, we can use my freighter as a marker.
Also, just FYI, a good wingman always tells his other wingman where he's going before he goes there.
Yeah. So, since your ship can't get to every system, I figure I would start with the systems you can't go to, and you just do the ones you can. And then we'll work together on whatever's left. So you know how to scan a planet, right?
I believe so, yes.
Just checking.
Wait, let me try it first. Yep.
Okay, so and then if there's any bases on there, you'll have icons popping up. So make sure you get everybody in the system.
Okay.
Which, if you go to your galaxy map, it'll show you how many at least are in the system. This one we have one, so easy peasy.
All right.
All right, and then how are you on fuel?
Let me check. Let me check that. It's kind of important.
Yeah.
I assume that's important. I'm gonna go ahead and leave.
Leave?
Cool. Not great. Actually, pretty. Actually, I probably am gonna need some hyperdrive.
All right, back on the station real quick, and I'll transfer to you.
I do that. Guess we should have done that first.
Yep. Well, you know, this is our first time, right? Bound to be a few
Yeah.
hiccups.
Step one, make sure you have enough fuel to get to surveys.
Let's see.
I think I just have to stand like next to you, right?
Yeah, looks like.
Free! I love free stuff.
That should last you a while.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Okay, so system we're starting in. I'm gonna get started recording some of this. And so basically, as far as recording goes, I was not going to record anything unless, or very much unless we actually found found a base. Then we'll go into more detail about what's in the system.
no, when you say system, we're talking about basically planets around the star.
The solar system. Yeah, the star
Yeah.
system. So
Yeah.
our
Okay. Hey, look at that! 6th grade science actually came into use. My job.
and then you'll see the drop down habitation, none, base, comm, station, or both, depending on what we find. So yeah, I think we can just start go into systems. Make sure you keep track of what you're hitting, and I'll start with everything that's not yellow, basically.
And you're looking at your galaxy map.
Yeah. 100 light years might be a little much. We might want to cut that down a bit more even.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 100 light years is going to be a little much. Let's do 50 and see how that does. Now I'm under attack.
Oh, pirates again?
Yeah, I jumped out of there.
You left the system.
I did.
All right. Left me to fend for myself. So
Oh,
you're in
we're working.
the.
What?
So you want me to do a different system than you?
Yeah, because you can't actually get to this system.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Injara Rylan. Rylan? There's water there.
Okay, make sure you write it down so you keep track of it. Make sure it's not more than 50 light years away.
Okay, this is only 18 light years.
Perfect.
All right.
Scanning the systems. So yeah, I've been following the what do they call it? The Archaeogaming conference. And
Oh yeah, how's that going?
some of them are really good. There's some interesting stuff going on. At noon today, they actually held a meeting talking about organizing. And they're right, they do need to organize at least into a loose group so they can. Because it took me quite a while to find anybody really, and there's a fair number of folks out there. So I'll get these.
So you're just going to a system, and then we're just going to like the planets within the system, scanning them.
Yep,
And
you don't need to land unless
So
there's
you're
a base,
saying
of course.
You're saying I can't ride an alien creature.
I'm saying maybe not while we're working.
So I got a question for you. So how frequent is it on like real surveys to like? I guess you don't have to be honest about this, but for people to like kind of screw around, have fun, like how common is it?
I mean, it certainly happens, and there certainly needs to be someone kind of keeping everyone in line, because yeah, there's some ridiculous stuff that can happen on surveys. Probably one of the least bit is just occasionally a dirt clod goes flying through the air or something. I thought you were going to ask me how often they actually find things.
Yeah, how about that? How often do you actually find them?
I think it's going to be probably a lot more than we're going to find things. I suspect we're going to find a lot of empty systems, so we'll see if this is going to end up being worth it for us. But there are certainly surveys where you hardly find anything. And pirates again.
How often is it for you on real surveys be attacked by pirates.
By pirates. It is apparently not as common as this, though not entirely unheard of. There are places especially where not exactly pirates but looters can be quite aggressive, and there are stories of whole teams being held at gunpoint and robbed and things. So basically pirates.
The worst kind.
The land pirates.
You're only a pirate if you steal a ship. You rob a ship.
Oh, is it really?
That's the definition.
Otherwise you're just a highwayman or something.
That's right. You're the robber. Oh, I'm being attacked.
Yeah, me too.
All right, take care of these
I
guys.
think I can just jump out. No, I can't.
Well,
Well, that's gonna be get
got him.
obnoxious.
He's toast. Take care of it. Okay, so I have a question.
Sure.
What is a radial? What's the difference between a radial system and a system in this game?
Radio system.
In the survey data you have, the spreadsheet, it says galaxy, radial system, and then system.
Oh, the system we started at. That's just kind of what I call the center point. We're radiating out of that system.
Okay, so where did we start?
Luyet.
You got it.
Yeah.
And so, okay. And so there's no real space for planets on here on this. We're just looking for wherever the.
Basically, until we find habitation, there's no point in worrying about the planets.
Okay. And so there's a planet that's unmapped that I'm looking at. It says it's a toxic planet. I'm assuming that means there's probably no habitation.
If there's a base or if there is a comm station from a player, there will be an icon popping up that you can fly to. From space even, so you don't even need to go into the atmosphere for it.
Okay. Now it says that this planet that I'm looking at in my system, it says it's currently unmapped. After I scan it, is it just mapped after that, or?
I think it only counts as mapped if you go down and locate items or spots on the planet or scan things.
Gotcha.
But that's quote-unquote natural systems. That's not exactly what we're looking at in this case, even though they're human constructed, just not player constructed. That's kind of what we're focusing on. And then
so we're just looking for sites that other players make, not just.
Right. I mean, you could potentially do research on that sort of thing, but I find player activity just be kind of fascinating personally.
Yeah, I hope nobody ever finds my base because it's like the crappiest base you've ever looked at.
Well, see, that's the thing, because you have to actually intentionally upload it for someone else to be able to find it unless you're playing with them. So I suspect that we'll actually see a bias in this, kind of similar to what we see in historic documents, where what we see is actually filtered in a certain way. People don't share anything they don't want to share. They share their kind of like in documents, they only share what they think is going on or what they think they want to tell their audience, and they eliminate anything they don't think is important. And that's not something you typically see in archaeology in the physical world, because we can see every not everything. There's different biases in archaeology, but it's not filtered through someone before we get to see the evidence, if that makes sense.
Right. So Grandma was hiding her liquor bottles down the privy house.
Yeah.
Her family may not have known that she was really big into whiskey, but archaeologists later on can find her whiskey bottles.
Sure, if she was a staunch abolitionist and then turns out she has a bunch of whiskey bottles in the privy, then it tells you some things. And, you know, she may write about how liquor is the devil, but does she ever write about the life of, you know, her maid? You know, and so archaeology can get at those untold stories in a way that historic documents can't always. And I've lost the thread a little bit, but...
No, it makes sense. All right, I think this system's bust.
Yep.
So I got another question about the game. So to see how many planets there are in this system, do I just like how much do I have to actually fly around? Can I just kind of look around and
if
I'll see
you
all the planets within
go to
the
your
system,
galaxy,
or-
if you go to your galaxy map,
Gotcha.
it'll pull
Oh,
out
wait.
and it'll actually show you the system. I actually forgot to add the one I just did already.
Okay. Re-explore.
Okay.
Have you ever gone to a black hole in this game?
I have not. I'm at the point where I guess I could, but I have not done it. Partly because I figured when we do this, we'd want to start out kind of on the edges, and I think the black holes kind of propel you towards the center. And we're in the Tratz system. This should have...
Man,
Oh.
you're much quicker at this than me.
Well, I think it sounded like you're figuring out kind of how the scanning worked and stuff. And I've been thinking
Basically,
about
I'm
it.
trying to figure out how to fly this spacecraft.
4 planets, 2 moons.
Oh, here we go. There's something.
You got something?
Possibly.
Planet. One more planet.
All right. Going to a new system.
And I've been jumping back to our radial system just so I can
Oh,
tell
you
how
have?
far I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have done that.
I mean, if you're sure it's within 50 light years of the radial, then we're fine.
Definitely not.
We'll see what happens. If I run out of fuel, I'll let you know. You can come get me.
I think you'd be more likely to run out of fuel by hopping back and forth, but you wouldn't get stranded, per se. Well, I mean, I guess you
Right.
could. So I'm missing one planet.
Yeah, these like
At. There it is.
okay, rock and roll. Whoa. It's a giant green planet on this one.
Now you didn't. Yeah.
So, what did I do?
You changed our radial system. You can't do that.
Well, I thought you said if I warped from a different radio system, then it'd change it.
We're gonna do all of them from one radio system, and then we're gonna jump to another radio system and do them from that system.
Okay, gotcha.
So I wonder where you're at. You're okay. You're still within 50 light years.
Yep.
So
yeah, I didn't go too far.
Yeah. So it's no biggie. But you're still from the same radio system.
Okay. Hey, I found a moon. Hey, there's ancient bones on this moon.
Yes, we could do a thing sometime talking about how archaeology is represented in this game and other games.
Right.
Certainly is enough there.
So have you ever found ancient bones in this game?
Yes. Hey, Barbara. Mike was wondering early on if archaeologists ever goof around while they're working.
I think they probably do.
She says we're real serious.
Real serious.
I'm actually going to go from to third. There, that's a little better.
I've got pirates.
Don't die.
Oops. Oh man.
They're trying to steal your data. Don't let them.
Trying to steal my fuel.
Man, who gave you all that fuel for the pirates to go after?
I'm gonna tell him to go find Tristan. He's got it all. You got the wrong guy. This guy. I'm just trying to do survey, man.
I must assume you're trying to hide the artifacts.
That was unpleasant. All right, I think I'm not really sure there's anything here. How many systems have you been to? Wow. I'm gonna say none with this one.
Yeah, if you don't see an icon pop up once you scan it, then you know it's nothing there for us anyway.
Nothing yet, huh?
Nope. It's gonna be a pretty long shot, I think, a lot of the time, but so's the real thing as well. You know, we go for long periods sometimes without finding anything exciting, and then every little thing is exciting after that.
What is the most? Have you ever done survey and just like the whole project found nothing?
Yes, absolutely. Oh yes.
How does that make you feel?
Negative data is still data, which is what we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better. It is true, but it's also to make ourselves feel better. So yeah, it can be kind of dull when you're not finding anything. And then there's some projects, you know, where, oh geez, another arrowhead, whoop-de-doo, you know. Other times, like every single stone chip is exciting just because you've been finding so little. It really just does depend.
Okay, I have another question.
Shoot.
So after I visit a system, you want me to go back to the original system and then travel to a different system from that original system?
Correct. And
Seem
I think I'm finishing up the non-yellow ones, so I'll start doing the yellow ones here in a little bit. So make sure you're not revisiting a system. Just check that
Gotcha.
it's not on there, listed on there already.
Yeah, I see them on your. If you're, I assume you're updating this survey data spreadsheet.
Yep.
Looks like you are. Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing so far, man. I found maybe there's potentially some ancient bones on the planet, but you've forbidden me from landing on the planet. So I'm just gonna have to
Forbidden.
wait it. I hope pirates don't come by and loot those bones, Tristan.
Well, they
That's on
probably don't
you.
have good enough scanners. Okay, that's another
All right.
none.
Okay, let's go to the next one. I think I'm starting to get what filter do you try to look through? Does it matter?
Filter?
Yeah, on the galaxy map.
Oh, I haven't been at all. If you have it set to, I think, no filter. Whoop. Yeah, if it's set to no filter, you just have the color of the star itself. And so I'm pretty sure, unless you've gotten further into the game than I know of, you can only fly to the yellow stars right now. And that's why I'm focusing on the blues, reds, and greens. So that,
Okay.
yeah. So Barbara, we've
Yeah,
already...
just because.
Go ahead.
Do you know why? Like, why is it that? Why can I only go to certain? It's just you have to.
Because of the game.
Oh, okay. Just because of the story in the game.
Yep.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm starting on yellow stars now. Just making sure I'm not picking one you've already done. So Barbara, we've already constricted our radial space a little bit, because I was saying, kind of arbitrarily 100 light years, and then I started to realize how many systems that was in one radial. And that's a lot of systems. Just to give you an idea. So 100 light years away is out to here. That's a pretty huge circle.
Way too far.
There's this thing in archaeology called sampling. And basically it comes down to you don't need every single thing. You only need to get enough to give you a statistically representative sample. And that is definitely true in this case.
So it's kind of like during election year when they take polls, you only need a certain number of people to get statistically a good idea of how the country might feel about a particular piece of legislation or topic. Like
Yes.
that?
Yes. Just like
Trying to
that.
make it relatable and relevant.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. Don't know what I'm doing. I like all these star systems are pretty far away, man.
Well, just do the ones 50 light years from Liet or whatever. And then we'll move on to another one.
Okay, so that's cool. You can actually see the previous paths you've taken.
Yeah, so we won't be able to see what the other person's done. But with the list that combined with that path, it should be pretty good, I think.
Okay, you haven't been to Nadar yet, have you?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I'm going. Going in hot.
That's my call.
That's your, yeah.
So my call sign can be either shotgun mic or laser mic.
Or laser shotgun mic.
Laser shotgun mic.
Whoa, you just changed.
What I do?
You just changed my data.
You changed my data.
No, I just saw it change.
My bad.
Hit Control Z for me.
No, I got it. Control. Wait, it's Command Z, I think.
Oh,
there you go.
yeah, you're on a mic. There you go.
Oh man, I'm getting attacked again.
Yeah, some systems have higher conflict, I think, and so it makes it more likely. Wait, how many would I need? 3. Okay.
Oh, it's a rescue mission. Have you
Yeah.
ever had to rescue? Have you ever been in the field
Oh,
and you had to rescue something?
rescue something?
Like
Like,
I don't know, like an ant, like a deer that was hurt.
we've seen stray animals. I actually know of some coworkers once who stopped by the side of the road and picked up a baby badger.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
badger.
Yeah.
What did they do with it?
They found a guy who would take it in.
They
and-
found a guy who would take it in.
Yeah. And take care of it. But I guess the thing in the box was just like berserk.
Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe
Yeah.
because it was a badger.
Because it was a badger, yes.
Oh, that's
I
a
heard that and I'm like,
favorite.
you idiot.
Where did someone find a badger?
It was just by the side of the road.
But like where? I mean, like.
Oh,
what
this was
state?
would have been probably Utah is where we saw it.
Oh, Utah. I didn't know I didn't know Utah had badgers.
Yeah, it's everywhere but around here in the Florida area, I guess. I was a little surprised to hear you don't have any here in the South.
Yeah, we have like alligators and possums. Possums are kind of like badgers,
well,
aren't they?
I don't know.
Similar. Well, according to zoofacts.org.
Fake news.
Check it out.
Fake news.
Yeah, don't believe everything you read on.
Yes. Perfect example.
But yeah, according to zoofacts.org, badgers and possums are basically the same creature.
There it is.
Which is definitely not true.
The last planet was hiding behind another planet.
All right, I got rid of all these people who are attacking me.
Okay.
What is a sharded planet? I know what a shard is.
There are some planets that are kind
Does
of.
that mean it's a class?
They're kind of maybe something like that. They're kind of sick.
Okay.
They aren't in good shape, and you can come across them. It sounds like that might be one of them.
Okay. Because I know in archaeology, a shard is a piece of glass, and a sherd is a broken piece of pottery.
Yes, it's not a sharded planet though. It's a sharded planet.
Right, with the A.
Right.
So that's why, that's what I thought maybe would be glass.
I think it might be crystals, which is, glass as well, of course.
I have an incoming message. Oh, it was I rescued a freighter. So you're
Hey.
talking about rescuing a badger? I just rescued a freighter.
It's probably not as vicious. If you land, you'll probably get to keep it.
Yeah, it looks pretty friendly. I don't think he would attack me if I. Rescued a badger.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's attacking us. We're just trying to help it.
It's so angry in its box that we forced it into. I don't understand.
Why is it so angry?
Yeah, you think, oh, it's a
Was it
cute
like-
little baby.
was it
Ah!
injured?
What?
Was it injured or was it just like a little baby?
It was just alone on the side of the road. I think it wasn't injured, but, it's not a normal situation.
Wait, it's not normal for just a badger just to be on the side of the
no,
road hanging
no,
out?
it's not their natural environment. There's one.
Right.
The theory was maybe the mother got hit or something.
So it was like a younger badger.
It was a baby. It was a straight
it
up
was
baby.
a baby. Okay.
Yeah,
I must have
but
not heard them say it was a baby.
yeah, you think baby? Well, it's
Okay.
cute
That
and
makes more
cuddly,
sense.
and this is not the case with a badger baby.
Yeah. You know it's not cute? Possums.
No, never cute.
Well, baby possums are actually kind of cute. We had actually a baby possum over by FPAN by our office
Yeah.
a few years ago, and they rescued it. They took it to a wildlife refuge.
Yeah, that's what they did with this one too.
Gotcha.
I'm just imagining them trying to raise the thing in their hotel.
It becomes like the mascot.
The cleaning
you know?
service walks in and
Like what? It's probably pretty normal in Utah just to have like badgers in the house. Maybe I don't know.
no. I mean, they're related to wolverines. They're not very nice. It is noisy. Turn that down.
All right, I'm gonna say this one has none.
All right.
I got it. Can you put a tab that says hostile pirates?
You can
Because
add one if
that's-
you want. We can add a
Yeah, 'cause
notes.
That's what I found on this system is hostile
I
pirates.
think we just need a notes tab on that section so you can add whatever you think is relevant.
I think that's pretty relevant, man.
We need some interpretation from the crew.
Yeah. How about like on real projects? Have you ever had to go in areas that were, I don't know, somewhat dangerous, or that before you went there, the company or the project leader were like, "Hey guys and girls, this is gonna be a little bit dangerous."
Mostly no. Although there are definitely exceptions. For example, hunting season is actually kind of a scary time to be doing archaeology. And so, we wear our bright orange vests, but I've heard stories of walking around a bend on a trail and looking up and there's a bow hunter full draw pointed right at you.
Oh,
So,
fun.
yeah, being
How
bright.
does they thought they were a deer, or they just really hated archaeologists?
They just were idiots who were aiming before they knew what they were even aiming at.
Oh, gotcha. Sounds great.
Yeah, right? And there's other things too. Other wild animals, for example. Trying to think what other ones I've got. Did I enter that one?
I'm having problems getting back to the original system for some reason. Wait. No? Oh, finally. Okay, I did it. Jeez. I think, are you back in the original system we started out at?
Yes.
Oh, maybe we can catch up for a beer or something. I'm headed there right now. Hey, you got any more of that warp fuel? It's really great. Makes you a great target for pirates.
Yeah. You should carry more of it.
All right, I'm back. Oh, and I'm out of fuel. Good thing I have more.
Unless the pirates got it.
All right. They got none of it.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty skilled fighter pilot.
You could give Luke Skywalker a run for his money.
Good. I was always partial to Han Solo.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in the '80s.
Did he shoot first? That's the real question here.
Just defending myself.
Preemptively.
Flavucha. Her. All right. All right. See you on the flippity flip.
Alrighty. Three planets, three moons.
Where do you see that? Oh, when you're in the galaxy before you go there?
Yeah, I'm looking just to know when I'm done, basically.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
There.
You know what I could do is I could come to a system, and I could make like really quickly build a fake camp and then tell you, hey, I found something.
You could, but then I would be able to see that it was you.
Well, have you ever had that happen where someone tried to like trick you guys with the site?
I did have. There was one time we actually had someone who bought one of those fake arrowheads you get at the touristy places. The ones that, you know, if you know what arrowheads look like, you can know they're fake. And so they were just walking around tossing them in people's screens when they weren't looking, so they'd find it. And someone found it, you know, was looking at it, and they were like, ha ha ha, yeah. And our boss came over and said, let me see that. And he was looking at it all seriously, and then got really embarrassed and mad when he figured out that it was fake and it was intentionally so. So that one backfired.
So it's just like so wait, who put it in there? Was it like another archaeologist or just some random person?
No, it was crew messing around.
Oh, okay.
You asked if we messed around sometimes, and that's one of the things they do sometimes is.
Yeah.
The better ones were when people would walk by and tossed in candy. That was my favorite.
Just to give you a treat.
Exactly. Wrapped candy, so it wasn't all dirt encrusted when you found it.
Ah.
Come on.
Well, that's a nice practical joke.
That was a nice one, yeah. Really the point one wasn't so bad either. It wasn't meant to fool anybody. It was just meant to be silly. It just kind of backfired on them.
Are we scanning moons too?
Yes.
All right, good. 'Cause that's what I've been doing. Nope, nothing here. Just another lithic scatter.
Just another can scatter. That was what we found out west a lot, especially if you're around a town. Here's a can dump. There's another can dump.
Did you ever find like a illegal like moonshine still, like an old one, or like a one that was currently in operation but was hidden or supposed to be hidden?
I have not, although we have found, like, we do come across like trailers out in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, thinking of Breaking Bad, we just don't go anywhere near that stuff.
Yeah. Well, where's the adventure in not checking it out?
Yeah. I'm
Probably
okay with
smart.
it. We did have one where we were working in a cornfield doing some work, and the sheriff stopped by because they thought we were in there harvesting not corn crops. So,
Ah,
yeah.
wow. So what did you do?
I let my boss deal with it.
You're like, this is not my pay grade. Hey,
I,
guess
yeah.
guess what? Guess what I found?
What'd you find?
Pirates attacking me from my field.
Oh boy.
Weren't you the one that said we shouldn't have a tab about, hostile systems? I feel like we should like that would be a good service for people. I think. Be
Yeah.
like, hey, if you visit this system and you have fuel, you're probably going to get attacked.
Or anything. Frankly, they'll attack
Luckily,
you.
these are
They'll attack you no matter what you've got.
gotcha. But luckily, they are terrible at flying. These pirates,
Yeah.
they're pretty easy to defeat. And this one has nothing, so I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
All right. Nothing here.
Yeah, Barbara, sometimes it's nice just to know it's like, oh, this isn't for me to deal with. I always appreciated those moments when I was in the field.
Wait. Oh, Barbara asked a question.
Oh, she was just commenting.
Oh.
She was being sassy because I always let my boss deal with it.
Gotcha. Because she's your boss.
Exactly. And I do let her deal with it.
Sometimes that's the best move.
Right? Well, and it's...
Because ultimately, someone's just going to say, I need to talk to your manager, your boss.
Well, and certain things are just not for you to figure out, and I'm usually okay with that. This jaw is none.
Moving on. Well, one thing you could definitely tell from this data sheet, or data sheet, however you want to pronounce it, is that you are much more efficient than I am.
Well, the crew chief has to show the crew how to work hard and quickly, right?
That's true.
And you notice I promoted myself to crew chief here.
I'm fine with that. That means if I ever run into a problem, you know who I'm going to tell them to talk to.
Right.
You.
Just like the pirates that I let you deal with.
I'm getting kind of used to these pirates. They're not that bad.
No, they're really more annoying. All right, I'm headed to Nifikata.
Yes, some of these are just like a little bit. So wait, why am I not going more than 50 light years? Is this?
That's just to limit. That's just to limit how big of a space we're doing in one go. Because that's a lot of systems. Like, we're up to. We're going to probably hit 20 at least, and that's probably a good number. And then we'll jump in and do another set. And I think we're also going to find probably closer to the core is going to be more populated.
Okay.
So it's worth getting a good sample. And so basically I'll just jump us towards the core.
Jumping towards the core. Oh, sorry. We were editing at the same time.
We were what? Oh, yes.
We were entering our notes at the same time. So how often have you, into just playing this game, come across like bases or just things that other players have created?
Not once.
Not once.
Not once. But I haven't done extensive travel either.
Uh,
Yeah, that's like I said. This may end up being just too small of a chance, but I figured it's worth a shot, and we'll see if we enjoy doing it.
no, I mean it'll make
And-
me feel more special if I find something.
Right, and basically this way, the crummiest base possible is going to be the best.
Hey, this planet has cactus flesh.
Yes.
You know what that means? It's got animals probably that need to be ridden. Guess what? Guess what I found?
What?
Pirates who want my fuel.
How do you keep running into them?
Yeah. This is crazy.
Okay.
Bunch of them. Oh man, they're not happy.
Are you going to make it out alive?
Let's just see what happens here. I can always land on a planet.
Yeah, I think they don't. Well, they might follow you into the atmosphere. I'm not sure. What's that noise?
Good thing I play a lot of first-person shooters. He's shooting at all the asteroids. That's from the movie Jerk. Remember that? Have you seen that?
I didn't.
Oh, you've never seen the movie Jerk?
That's
The
good to
Jerk?
know. It's actually a movie reference and not just a random comment. Because that's what I
Oh.
interpret it as.
Steve Martin. It's
Oh, okay.
classic.
Oh, yeah. I know
Is
of
it a
that
scene?
one. I don't think I've actually seen it.
Oh man, there's a scene where he's like, I can't remember why the guy's shooting at him, but he's like shooting at him, and he's working at a gas station, and there's a bunch of paint cans behind him, and the guy's like for some reason trying to shoot Steve Martin's character, and Steve Martin, and like in the movie his character is like not, he's just he's not very smart, and so he's getting shot at, and he goes, he's shooting at the paint cans. He hates the paint cans. So that's why I said they're shooting at the asteroids.
So 2 moons, 3 moons, 2 planets.
These guys just don't give up.
No.
I can get back to my job. Found a rotting planet.
Rotting?
Yeah, this is a rotting.
It's not quite what it came through as.
Oh.
Moons.
You know, like, how do you so I know this planet this system has 3 planets, but I'm only seeing 2 of them.
Use your pulse engine and fly to like out a little bit. Sometimes it's hiding behind a planet.
2. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Yeah. Yep, you're right. It was a small planet behind a big planet. What do you think of other systems having potentially life on them?
It's interesting. I I mean, it seems likely, especially with some recent discoveries. You know, they just found.
Yeah, I mean, it's big.
What?
It's just so it's so big.
Yeah. Well, in just the last maybe 10 years, they found that there's a lot more planets and a lot more planets in the habitable zone than they anticipated. Because they changed some ways they process data, and they found tons of planets. And so it seems very likely now.
Right.
Of course, that means, you know, like, at least simple life. Who knows how complex and all that.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's going to come up here.
What is your take on ancient aliens?
I try not to.
But there's so many episodes on the History Channel.
Right.
How can it not be?
That's a whole other conversation.
Oh yeah. Did you see that article? I don't know when it was published, but it was just reported that they had finally sourced where the Stonehenge, at least the largest stones, had come from.
Yeah, I saw the headlines. I didn't check out the article though. I thought they'd already knew.
I think they suspected, but they didn't really have a really good, solid scientific proof of it until apparently now.
Okay.
So, you want to guess where they came from?
Where?
Take a guess.
Close by?
You don't want to try to guess? Huh?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty close. I think it was 25 kilometers away, so not terribly far away.
Kind of what you'd probably assume, yeah.
So yeah, they did not come from space or wherever that ancient alien show claims they came from. I'm not even sure what to say about that.
Okay, so we got one planet. That's a cool looking planet.
Which planet is that?
Yavedi 18. It's all
Good old
red and
Yavedi
gray.
18.
Good old Yavedi 18.
Yeah. Hey, go there every summer. All right, I'm gonna go to. Oh wait, you're entering something.
Now I've got pirates.
Oh yeah. They must have got my text message. They said, you need to go talk to the crew chief. That guy has a lot of fuel. Trust me. He showed it to me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm heading to another system. Hopefully no pirates. Well, I'm getting pretty good at scanning planets and shooting my photon cannons at pirates.
My shields aren't doing too hot.
Do you need my assistance?
No. I don't think the consequences of death are that bad.
Yeah, basically you just respawn, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Are sentinels just like drones that fly around the planet?
Yeah,
So
there's
it's
some lore with them or something too, but I don't. Yeah, basically, they're kind of like the police in Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, okay.
So if you behave badly, they'll keep upping the response until they send in a fleet carrier and giant stompy robots and everything.
I wonder if, like Grand Theft Auto, if they have, can you like loot artifacts and sell them on the black market?
I mean, that's about every game.
So, you know, since the game is all, yeah, the game is like very crime based.
Yeah, but even ones that aren't, they think that's what you do with artifacts, is you find them so you can sell them and make money.
Yeah, did you see Facebook recently? I guess apparently they were allowing people to just, you know, steal artifacts and sell them
Yeah.
on the marketplace, but apparently they've decided to stop that.
Oh, good.
So now you're not. I mean, you weren't. I guess you weren't really allowed to before, but they let people get away with it, I guess. Unfortunately, but that's. I mean, it's good that they tried to now put a stop to it.
The story on Facebook, Barbara? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Barbara said there was a good story on NPR about it.
Oh, was there? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I read an article. I can't remember what source it was, but maybe that's where I saw it.
I think we're getting close. There might be one or two left there, but
yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets here. I think I looked at them all. Getting scanned. You know what that means.
you're gonna have friends.
Maybe I can talk to him. I'm going to talk to him. Oh, he wants me to give him money. I'm going to alert the authorities. Like, what? It says I can alert the authorities.
Oh yeah?
I can either just refuse, and I'm pretty sure if I refuse, they're going to attack me. I can bargain and pay him half the price he's asking for, or I can just pay him. I'm going to refuse. I'm going to refuse and run away. That's what I do. I'm going to hide. I'm going to hide and I'm going to go down to the planet down here. And I'm going to find a hole in the planet. And I'm going to go hide in the cave of my ship. But it's not really a cave. I'm inside a worm.
Yes. I feel like I've heard this plot somewhere before.
It's the old Han Solo trick.
Yes, your hero.
I mean, let's be honest. Chewie's was the one that was doing all the flying.
All the real work.
Yeah, it really wasn't Han.
He was doing all the fixing. All that jazz.
He was just good at promoting what he did.
Yeah.
I think I'm good on this one, so I'm gonna move on from this. There's ancient bones.
But are they archaeological, Mike, or are they natural?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, that's one of those. You can go dig them up and everything, and then you sell them for money.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Huh. Huh. Somebody, somebody call Facebook.
Spacebook.
There you go. They should have a social media page just for this game called Spacebook.
I expect it's already a thing somewhere.
Maybe. So how does that work? You just go to a space station and you go to one of those portals and you just sell them there?
I think so, yeah. I don't
Wow.
know that there's anything else to do with them.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know what we need to do?
What?
Oh, I have no fuel. Write a letter.
Yes, we should write a letter to complain.
Write a letter, man.
That never works.
It does. Totally. All right. Yeah, I'm glad you thought of giving me all that fuel because
It's fuel intensive,
totally,
definitely. It won't be too hard to keep up on that, though. I can just buy raw materials and then make it into fuel whenever we want to do this.
for like a project in the real life. What's the longest or the most amount of sites you've been able to identify or survey in a single day?
Oh, I don't know about the number, because the size and complexity of the site depends too. What?
Okay. What's like typical though? Like what is like if you looked at what I'm doing right now, you'd be like, "Oh, this guy is terrible at surveying." Because I think I've done like 4, and you've done I don't even know what number you're on now.
Well, I don't know. It depends
But
on how
what
many
would be,
planets
like,
you have and all kinds of other factors too. Okay, moon. But sometimes it also depends on how dense the sites are. We've had some days where we're doing walking survey, and we hardly get anywhere just because it's constantly recording sites.
You find a site, and you're like, "Wow, this is a like significant site." What's the next steps in the real world?
Well, it depends. We have different phases. So survey or phase 1 is where we're just kind of walking to get an idea of what's out there. And then if it's significant enough, and depending on what?
So kind of like what we're doing right now would be
Exactly. And then you move to phase 2, which would be just some smaller test units. It's just to get a better idea of what's there, and then if it's even worthwhile, or if whatever the pipeline or whatever isn't going to move, then you do full-on excavation where you do large test units and move a lot of dirt and everything. So you work in different phases depending on what you've got.
Gotcha. And how often? Hey, look at that! You're getting shot at.
Is that you?
I wasn't trying to hit you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait, they're shooting at me. I'm getting shot at. Why are they shooting at me?
I don't know. Where were they?
Wait a minute. Was that you?
No, of course not. That would be silly.
Okay, it was funny when I did it. It's not funny right now.
I'm not shooting you anymore. If you're still getting shot at, then
No,
I've got bad news for you. All right, so we got a...
Okay, I'm going to go to Argular. Argular. Hey, I think... Wait a minute. I've already been to that one you just put in.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Sorry.
You know, it'd be funny though. Is like if you went to this. So I said there was nothing there. What would be kind of funny is if you went to it and you found like a whole bunch of stuff.
That's like the worst nightmare when you're on survey and stuff is you like know there's nothing there, and then someone walks over it and they find an arrowhead or something. It's like, God damn it.
Then you have to question like every single side they
Right.
put in.
And the more you feel like, oh gosh, everyone is questioning me. I'm a terrible archaeologist.
I'm like, maybe I just need to work in a lab.
Public archaeology.
It's very important. Yeah. Hey, man, it's very important. It's a real big problem right now. Conservation of artifacts is very important.
Oops, there's one I can do.
All right, so maybe what will happen is when we're about to finish up, we'll finally find something. Like it'll be the last one.
That is how it usually goes on survey or in projects. You know, you're excavating looking for a particular feature and you find it like the last 2 days of your 3-month project. Yeah, Barbara, same thing. She agrees. That is just how it goes.
Tristan's Law.
I don't know if I can claim that one.
No. Well, looks like I'm getting scanned again. Maybe I can negotiate with these guys. Oh, wait.
4 planets, 2 moons.
I waited too long. They really don't give you time to respond.
It's like they just want you to dump your stuff and run.
It's almost like they're not really interested in even negotiating with me. As the game goes on, do these pirates become more difficult? Like, does the skill level of the AI go up?
Not that I've seen. They've
Not
only
really.
ever really kind of come all across as a nuisance to me.
Shooting at all the asteroids. He hates them.
Good thing they're not shooting at you.
I mean, he's shooting at the asteroids, but I think he's a terrible shot because he's hitting me a lot. Just like in real archaeology.
Yeah. We're going to fly a little closer here.
So you talked a little bit about survey, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. What will determine which phases you do? I mean, obviously, what you find.
What you find, what is going on. So, you know, if it's a pipeline or something and they're not going to move it, the pipeline is going to be very disturbing. But some projects may not disturb it too much, and so you may leave it for the future, essentially.
Have you worked on any, many pipeline projects?
Yes, lots.
Yeah.
That's, especially out west, at least when I was working in the field, that's most of what you find for jobs. Is essentially you go through before the pipeline and make sure they're not going to destroy anything too important.
And how often with those particular projects was there a site that they're basically just going to destroy?
I mean, you never
If nothing-
do 100% excavation. That's kind of comes back to the sampling we were talking about. So you do a good sampling, and depending on the importance of the site and the size and density and all kinds of different things. Does that kind of answer what you're asking?
Sure. Yeah. And we're talking like oil pipelines.
Oil or gas.
Natural gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, it could be other things, like if there's large water pipelines and that kind of thing, but that's not what most of the pipelines are, as far as I'm aware. We were starting to see an uptick in solar and wind farm jobs, actually, right
Oh
before
yeah,
I stopped, which was nice.
yeah. I heard especially there's a lot of like underwater stuff for the offshore wind farms.
Yeah, I could see that.
And of course, we have a lot of in Florida and the Gulf. There's lots of pipelines in the water in the Gulf.
Pipelines and oil rigs and all kinds of stuff. And just plain oil in the water, even.
Yep, you get some of that, unfortunately.
When I moved down to Pensacola, it was right after, a couple years after that big spill, the BP spill.
Oh yeah, BP
Mm.
oil spill, man. I remember, man, when that happened, people were going to the beach, like saying goodbye because we thought it was really bad. I talked to a couple. I interviewed a couple rangers out at Gulf Islands National Seashore for a oral history project about that, about BP oil spill,
Uh-huh.
and they were. And this was years after it. I think BP oil spill I think was 2010, and I probably did those oral histories. I don't know, probably like 5 years after it, and they were still like emotionally impacted. Like there was a whole psychological impact because they felt like when it was happening and they were they're park rangers and they're tasked with preserving and conserving these places and making sure that they'll last a long time so people in the future can visit them. So they really felt a responsibility to these sites and these natural resources, and they like teared up, and they talked about how they just felt so powerless during that oil spill and they just couldn't do anything, and nobody knew when it was going to stop or what the effects were going to be on the environment. It was crazy. It was a crazy time.
Yeah.
Hopefully the long time, but if you ever go out to Mobile, look in Mobile Bay, and you just see those gas rigs just everywhere, which they're. I get the economic side of it, and that's how our economy is to a large extent is run right now is through fossil fuels. But that is such a good example of not being sustainable for our environment or for our economy. I mean that destroyed the tourism industry for a couple years.
Tourism and shellfish and fishing and
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean those are huge. Fishing industry alone, like recreational fishing and commercial fishing, you're talking billions of dollars of our economy just in Florida. And not to mention, so with fossil fuels too, like long-term effect with climate change, and how that's going to affect not only our livelihoods but sites too. With sea level rise, that's where I'm going with that.
Sure.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, well done.
I'm just winging it.
You want to do a plug for
HMS.
HMS? Yeah, while we're at it.
Yeah, we have a program called Heritage Monitoring Scouts, where we're trying to kind of do what we're doing here: document and record sites and monitor them, sites that are threatened by sea level rise, but also through erosion and even like more powerful storm activity. Like a couple years ago, we had Hurricane Michael hit the Panhandle, Category 5, and we found that it, obviously it impacted the coast just to an incredible degree. It flattened the whole town, Mexico Beach, but so that's a good program that people can look into. But what we found is that even large, powerful storms can impact sites far, far inland. We're talking 50, 60 miles inland.
So, seems like I lost connection briefly while you're giving that
you
talk.
did?
Do you want to give it all again? I came back in time for the end of it.
I started. Well, yeah. So basically, what I was saying is our Heritage Monitoring Scout program is we're trying to record and monitor archaeological sites, historic structures that are threatened by sea level rise, erosion, and even intense storm activity. And I was trying to use the example of Hurricane Michael, because what we found with that one is it wasn't just coastal sites that were affected, but some of these sites, 60, 70 miles inland were impacted because these storms were getting more and more
Very
powerful.
seriously, yes.
As the temperatures rise, and the temperatures of course, the seawater increases, but also the atmospheric temperature. So, yeah.
Yeah, and people think about the threats of on the shore, but also as the shores disappear, people are going to move inland, and so inland spaces are going to get more crowded as well. So there's a whole complex chain of reactions going to happen there. You still there?
I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I agree with you. Yeah, it is interesting to see how it's all connected. Sishja. I don't think you've been to Sish. Oh, you have been there.
I think we're getting close.
Or maybe I. Okay. Paraduck Ban. Have you? Yep, you've been there. Look at that.
Should be a search function, I think, so we can actually search for names. Might be a good idea. Now that we're getting close and finding it hard to find.
You're talking about the Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think I might have found one.
There's
Did you do that one yet?
I don't remember.
I don't think so. I'm just going to go there.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. So these systems that have Roman numerals after them, does that mean that there's other systems with the same name and they're just numbered?
I think it's just a random, a procedural system that names these things. And I think sometimes, I don't know if there's a rhyme and reason to some of that.
Okay. So it's not critical that we record the Roman numerals, but we probably should.
It's just the name, I think. Yeah, but it's not critical to distinguish it from another one necessarily, but it might actually.
Maybe this one will be the one.
Yes, I'll have a dozen sites from 3 different people.
Here, but there is pyrite.
Or pirate.
Pyrite. My son's been playing this game, and he's like, "Look, I found more carbine." I'm like, "It's carbon." And then he goes, "Oh yeah." And then I'll hear him, because he plays with his friend, he'll be like, "Look, more carbine." And I'll yell from the room, "It's carbon." So this is a good game to actually teach kids about, chemicals, elements.
At least get some of those basics, introduced,
Yeah,
so when they do run into it.
Yeah, I feel like he'll be pretty good for 7th grade chemistry, like his elemental tables. Like, I think he'll know them from this game, assuming the elements are correctly.
I think they're real. They started off and they were completely made up, but I think that they've.
Well, yes, some of them for sure are real, but yeah.
It's a bunch of planets.
Yeah. I think this one might just have one moon. Or one planet, one moon.
Those are nice and quick.
3 planets.
That's a little different from 1.
There we go. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, Barbara said she got to tell her boyfriend and his daughter about obsidian from Minecraft and how it's really not like obsidian in our world. There is obsidian, but it's very different. For anyone who plays Minecraft, the obsidian is some of the hardest material in the game, whereas in reality, it's actually glass. It's very, very brittle, but also like one of the sharpest known materials. When you work it right, it gets so sharp it's down to the molecule when you first work it. So it's pretty cool stuff. Just different from how it's represented sometimes. It's also very, very fragile.
Have you ever tried to do flint knapping?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yes, actually. And I bled, so I'm officially a flint napper according to the guy who was teaching me.
Okay. Who was teaching you how to do it?
When I was a student, I volunteered at the Midwest Archaeological Center. And kind of as a reward for volunteering, they taught me some flint napping.
Oh, so did you work for the Midwest Archaeology Center? National Park Service, right?
Well, I never got paid, so not exactly worked, but they kind of got me started on a lot of stuff. And they had me work on some pretty cool sites. It was just lab work, nothing too fancy, but if you're aware of the work that that Doug Scott did out at the Custer's Battle of Bull Run. Is that right? Custer's Last Stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, where basically archaeologists went out and rewrote that history. They had me actually do some work on his collection from some of those excavations, and that was dang cool.
Wow, cool.
So
can you talk more about that site? Because other people, if anybody who watches this, they won't know.
So probably most folks are kind of aware of it. Was Custer was cavalry, I think, and they were intending to ambush some aliens, and sorry folks, I'm playing a space game. Ambush some Native Americans, and it turns out they stumble across like 5,000 or so, a lot more than they anticipated, and they got all wiped out. And so the narrative for the longest time was this brave last stand, and here's where the line of battle was, and so they went out there and did some archaeology of the site, and just basically completely rewrote that history. Like, it was not a line of battle; it was a panicked firing to the top of this hill, and they did figured out some cool stuff too. Like every single gun hammer makes a unique imprint on the back of the bullet cartridge. So they could actually trace the movement of an individual gun around on the battlefield based on where they're finding the cartridge that went to that specific one. So it's very cool, and I highly recommend checking it out if anyone's interested in that. But yeah, I didn't do anything too dramatic. I just rewrote some labels, but being able to even like look at them and work at them was kind of cool.
Yeah.
None.
So is that when you first kind of got interested, or were you already like a student in archaeology in the undergrad or something?
Yeah, I was already interested. But it kind of helped solidify that. I was thinking historic archaeology, and then actually getting to have someone kind of guide me on some introduction to some of that was pretty good. And I don't consider myself a what folks may call a battlefield archaeologist, what we typically refer to as conflict archaeology, because it's a little more than just battlefields sometimes. But I kind of got started doing some of that there too, and that's what led me to Bill, in part anyway, our boss. Clarified, I had to realize I needed to clarify that.
Yeah.
Our director.
Bill, yeah, who is a battlefield archaeologist.
Yes. He has done a lot of Civil War stuff. I think it's
He's good friends with Doug Scott. So
yes,
that's that
yes,
connection. I guess it's like anything, like when you get into any like super specialized subfield of a discipline, it's everybody kind of knows each other or knows of each other or have met each other.
yeah. Especially in a smaller specialty like um, conflict archaeology. It's a definitely a specialty, but there aren't a ton of people who specialize in that.
Do you know if in this game, obviously, there's a lot of like conflict, at least pirates attacking
Yeah.
us. But what about, are there like battlefield sites in this game that you can like explore?
Nothing as probably thorough as you're thinking. There are crashed freighters, and there are some archaeologists who've done kind of sample excavations of some of those crashed freighters. They're in bits and they've kind of sunk into the ground and they've excavated them. And there are like ruins and things for you to explore and learn about. You basically get to learn about ancient aliens, but it's not quite like archaeology because like here's a word in this language and here's this thing we're going to tell you, and that's not, of course, how archaeology works. It's almost more like history in that respect. So 3, 4, 5, and 1 moon. And for those who may be watching, Mike is actually our historian. I am what we would call a historic archaeologist. So I use historic documents and we work in the same time periods, but different specialties in how we look at the past, although we're both specialized, I guess we could say, in public outreach.
Yeah, so mine is all in, that's what historians are taught, that, there's two kinds of documents or sources. There's what they call primary source documentation, and these are documents that were created during the time in which a historian might be studying. So, for example, if a historian studying the American Revolutionary War, they would look at maybe letters that George Washington wrote. That would be like correspondence that he wrote during the time, or even a little bit after. That would be considered primary document. And then the other source we're taught about is called secondary sources, and those are like written way after the fact. So it might be like a history book written 100 years after the fact, or maybe someone was told of the story and then related that. And of course, there's oral history too, which I think is sometimes is not focused on a lot in terms of being credible sources, but they're actually really, really valuable oral histories. And so that's kind of the three different sources that you really study and investigate, and you learn how to interpret them, and you look at how, there's of course inherent biases in everything that was written, and it might be a bias because someone wants to look good, they don't want to look bad. And that could be for whatever reason, maybe for their legacy, or maybe, maybe they're on a witness stand and they're being questioned, and they have every reason in the world to lie because, if they're found guilty of a crime, like for example piracy, then it could mean you get hanged. So of course you might have a good reason to lie, and so you have to be careful with those all the time. But that's why, for me as a historian, you're kind of taught that, but then being exposed to archaeology and you see that there's so much more beyond the biases of witness testimony, because we have to also look at who was allowed to create the documents, who conserve those documents, the documents that we do have that were put into archives. Even there's bias in that, in what the curator or the archivist might think, should be public knowledge, or maybe something they want to sweep under the rug for whatever reason. So, or it might be a case where, of course, the people in charge were the ones that were allowed to create the documentation, and then it was deemed to be later on by descendants as really important enough to save, whereas people who might have been enslaved, or young children or women, certainly before the early 1900s, maybe didn't leave as much of a documentary record behind. So there's lots of biases that you have to learn about. But me being exposed to the archaeology world, you find that actually there's a lot of those stories that were left untold that are actually in the material culture, and that can be studied and understood in ways that documents just can't do.
Yeah, and to be
So
clear, there are biases in archaeology. It's just a different set of biases. It's not filtered through someone's perspective before we get to see the information. But certain things don't last very long or at all. Certain things, So, and then of course we have the archaeologists' biases ourselves and how we interpret the data and what we choose to research. So there definitely are still biases. It's just different ones in history, and together they can work very nicely in prop up each other's weaknesses, essentially.
I think I have explored all the planets I can get to.
Okay, I'm at one.
This,
Go ahead.
oh, just in this system anyway.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe like whenever you're done with that, maybe we could wrap it up for next week.
Sure. Yeah,
Do it.
that's about time. You're right. All right. So I've got 4 planets and 2 moons, and then I'll be all set. And that I think we have them all covered in this radial area too.
Oh, we got them all. Okay.
I think we might.
But I can't. It says I need some type of drive that I don't have, so I can work on for next week trying to actually get that drive.
Yeah, and check to if I've gotten it already, because I think I got most of those, although I do occasionally find one I've missed.
Oh wait, I've discovered why I couldn't get to any of the other planets.
You're out of fuel.
Do you want to guess what it was? Yeah. So I'll do one more.
All right. Pirates.
There's a system called Olax Fjord.
Fjord?
Clearly Vikings here.
Space Vikings.
Space Vikings. They're
That's
pirates.
Kind of terrifying. They didn't steal ships, though, I don't think, typically.
Yeah, I think typically they just raided like churches.
Yeah, they stole other things from ships.
They knew where the valuable gold stuff was. It was
Yeah,
in the church.
right.
So that's where they went. Yeah, I'm gonna check this system out. This one's technically outside the 50 light years. It's 51 light years. I mean, but I figured, why not? It's just 1 light year.
Okay. I mean, you don't need to. You done yet?
Almost there.
Okay.
What's the farthest you've traveled, like, in this game? In one.
Farthest I can
Yeah,
travel in this ship is about 750 light years. I'm sure you could eke out longer, but that's a pretty good range, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I've forgotten what I was doing. 4 planets, 2 moons.
So far, nothing. Have you ever tried to travel into a sun?
No, I think you should.
You know what will happen.
I can guess. Actually, I don't know if the sun actually exists in the solar system, per se. Because if it did, like, you'd be flying by it all the time to get to planets, and you never do.
Yeah.
There we go. Caught up Noe is a negative.
Yep. This Viking system is also a negative.
Vikings left no traces.
No, none at all.
Quick mark. There we go. I may need to get a laptop up with the spreadsheet on, just so I don't have to click away from the screen every time, because it pauses the game. I'm sure that's not the most interesting to watch.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I have mine on the laptop, so
Yeah.
it is a lot easier just to pop in. And so I guess I need to go to a space station to save it, right?
You only need to get out of your ship to save it.
Yeah, but I have to go. Okay, I guess I can land on a planet to do that.
Yeah, so whenever you exit your ship, it saves.
Have you ever tried to exit your ship in space?
You should try it.
I'm gonna try it. It says I can't. There must be too much pressure on the outside or something.
Yeah, from space. Wait.
Going. Yeah,
2, 3, 4, 5.
space station.
There we go.
It doesn't matter that we don't put our names next to each one we did.
No. We can just copy and pull them down.
I was gonna say that would be embarrassing if I had to admit how few I did.
No, we're a team, Mike. We do them together. No, I've done these.
All right, I'm saved up.
All right. You popping off?
Yeah, I'm gonna pop off. Well, that was fun. Bummer we didn't find anything, but maybe next week. So I guess maybe we should talk about the plan next week.
Sure. Hey, Binary 10.
What's
Thanks
the
for
plan
joining us.
next week?
We're just about finishing up, unfortunately. But I'll hang around for a little bit longer. So if you're as far as plans for coming up, if you're down for doing this every Friday afternoon for a couple hours, I think that would be good for me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, and we can just keep doing this until we find something. That would be interesting.
Sooner or later, I hope. And I'll get us warped to another system, and we'll keep moving in.
Cool. All right. Well, I will see you on here next Friday,
at
and hopefully
at 2 Eastern.
2 Eastern, and hopefully I will have better drive so I can go explore some of these different planets.
I think it
And
worked
hopefully
out fairly well this way still, so don't stress about it too much.
Right, yeah. And hopefully, you know, I don't have so many pirates attacking me.
I think that's going to be kind of a
Actually,
constant.
yeah. Actually, it's happening right now.
As you speak.
These are terrible pirates.
I think
Right, well,
we got everything anyway. So I think we managed
nice.
to. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I will see you next time.
All right, I'll see you. Oh, of course, as I say that, I found one. So I'm going to pop over there and do that one real quick. One that Mike missed. Or blame him while he's not here. Gosh. This is what it must be like to be a crew chief. Hello? What am I looking for? 3 planets. I've gotten 3 planets. And oh, he got that one. All right. So I think we've gotten it. So I'm going to take us in about 700 light years to our next radial point towards the light years towards the core. And we'll be set up for next time. Let's find us a nice cluster. Like about that. That's just about right on time. So good. All right, so that is our stream for this week. Tune in next week and we will continue our survey, and hopefully we will find us a site that we get to record. That's our thought right now, Barbara. We'll do 2 hours a week from 2 to 4 o'clock Eastern on the afternoon. We'll see how things go and how our schedules work, and we may adjust that depending, but that's what we're planning for right now. All right, so I'll see you later. Have a good weekend.